Hello, Internet.
Welcome back to Video Game Brothers. I'm Brother Andy, and that's Brother Phil, and we want to do a quick channel update for everyone. What do we update?
Let's update them. We're on Instagram now.
We have an Instagram page.
Yeah.
Finally.
We started this channel. I thought, hey, it looks like Twitter would be a good way to communicate with people. Started a Twitter account 6 months ago, and I have 30 followers. And we started an Instagram account 3 days ago.
And we have 75 followers without even trying.
So,
like, I didn't advertise it.
We haven't even talked about it here.
I haven't even talked about it here.
So if you ever want to send us a message, do it on Instagram. We both log into the same account. We'll put the link in the description. So we're going to talk about some games that we've been playing. First, I want to talk about a repair job I did on my N64 controller, because I'm really excited about this. So one of the problems that I have personally with the N64 is the controller. Now, a lot of people don't like the controller because you gotta have 3 hands to play it or whatever. I don't even care about that.
That's never bothered me.
I don't know. Because you play most games like this, so it's like, who cares if that's there? I hate the joystick that comes on the controller. It's this hard plastic. My thumb really starts to get sore after a while. So I bought a replacement joystick, and it's a lot more rubbery. And it's just as super solid as you can get. And I took the controller apart, which was a little scary. There's a lot of parts in there, and a lot of little tiny screws. It wasn't easy. Some people do it real easy on the tutorials that I looked at. For some reason, the screws that are in this particular controller, I just had a hard time getting out. I don't know, there was maybe a little bit of rust in them, something like that. This R button I had a real hard time with, but it works. Everything works fine. So, I don't know. If you ever don't like your N64 controller, or you just have a bad stick, go on Amazon and buy one of these replacement sticks. I tell you what, it's the best $8 I ever spent, and now I'm actually playing my N64 again. So.
It feels like the GameCube stick.
Yeah, it's nice and rubby. It feels really good on the hand, really solid. Yeah. Anyway, that's really cool, so I'm really glad I did that. Everyone should do that.
It's one of those things, like, the first time I ever took apart an NES to put a 72-pin connector in there, I'm really worried about all these different screws, and this is going to be so... Dude, it's so much easier than you make it out in your mind. And, like, now, every time I do that, it's just like, whatever.
Just do it. Just do it.
Take the screws out. I mean, I don't even have to look on a video anymore. You just kind of, you can almost bluff your way through it. It's like, oh, okay, this goes here, that goes there, shove it in, put it back together, you're good to go. It's really not hard.
You know, the only system I don't think I've ever taken apart is an N64, because I've never owned an N64 that didn't work.
Me neither.
NES, Super NES, GameCube, even Wii, I've owned all of those that are broken. Every Game Boy I've owned broken. I've never owned an N64 that didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't know what the inside of an N64 looks like, to be honest with you.
I don't know, they got diamond bits holding everything together.
How did they make that machine? Holy crap. Anyway. Hey, what games have you been playing?
I've been playing Octopath Traveler.
Yes.
It is an awesome game, and it is a time sucker. I've probably put 50 hours into it so far. Very JRPG-ish, very grindy, but I love it. It reminds me of the old games I grew up with. I was a huge Final Fantasy nut when I was a kid. Super Nintendo, Chrono Trigger, all those. I bought Chrono Trigger like almost the day it came out. This is totally, objectively a better game than a lot of those were. It's very refined, and I like it a lot.
It's a really well-made game. And for people that don't know the history of Octopath Traveler, Square Enix, the developer, they actually released the game. They released part of the game as a free download several months ago, before it came out, so that people could download it and start playing some of it. And then Square said, okay, give us your feedback. Tell us what you like about it, what you don't like about it. And then they took that feedback and they fixed some things. I don't know what they fixed, to be honest. I didn't play it before. I didn't want to ruin the surprise. I didn't want to put 4 hours into a game only to start over again. I mean, I didn't want to do that. I wanted... So, yeah, I actually have already played through the entire game and beat it in 94 hours.
Alright, so I'm about halfway there.
Yeah, you're about halfway there. It's very grindy, but it's the kind of grindy that I love. It's just fun, and then you find ways to grind a little bit faster, which is a lot of fun.
It's perfect for the Switch, too.
Oh, man.
Because it's so much easier to grind on a handheld without having to turn the TV on. And, you know, we only have one TV in my house, so maybe my wife is watching something, and I don't want to take up the TV, but I can just sit there on the couch and
Sure.
gain a bunch of levels here real quick. So
I hope there's a renaissance of 16-bit JRPG type games, because I would absolutely love it if we had a lot more games like this to play.
It goes right back to the old ones, because I kind of lost interest in those games the further along you get. So like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, with each of those games I lost more interest, because they were grindy, but they were also full of cutscenes.
And the nice thing about this game is there is a lot of dialogue. There's 8 characters. Each of them has their own story, and there can be a lot of dialogue, but you can skip all of it.
I do it all the time.
And I do it all the time. I did it all.
Yeah. And then you go back and you read the journal, and it kind of just gives you the cliff notes of what happened, and you're like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
It works.
Let me talk about some of the Switch games that I've been playing. I've been playing Overcooked.
This game is wild.
Wow. If you've been waiting for that couch co-op game that you can just, people who don't even play video games and don't even know how to play video games, they can sit on your couch and you can hand them a controller, and in 2 minutes or less they can figure out how to play the game. This is it, and it is wild.
Yeah.
It is such a blast to play.
Yeah.
This is a party game that I've been waiting for. You're cooking meals, and then you're putting them on plates, and you're delivering them to customers in restaurants. Okay, that sounds kind of boring, but when you're timed and the food, the ingredients is over here, and then you have to cut it over here, and then you have to put it on the stove over here, but you can't cook it too long or it'll catch on fire, and if it catches on fire, you have to grab a fire extinguisher and put it out. It is just a blast.
If you've ever worked in a kitchen before, you'll kind of get the frantic pace of it. Like, customers are lining up, dirty dishes are piling up.
Yeah, you gotta wash the dishes. Yeah.
You gotta chop onions, and you gotta chop potatoes, and it's this frantic pace, and it's really fun. I can't really explain why, but yeah, if you get 4 people together, and whew.
Another Switch game I've been playing, Oceanhorn. People call this a Zelda clone. And you put it in, you start playing it, you're like, wow, this reminds me of Wind Waker. It's not a Zelda clone, it's a Zelda wannabe. In fact, I don't think I'm going to continue playing this game. I put a few hours into it. It just hasn't grabbed me at all. It's just not... It's not that fun of a game. I don't know why I bought it. I'm trying to remember why I bought this game. I don't know. I think it came out on the PS4, too. Anyway, I don't recommend it. It's not a Zelda clone. It's a wannabe. What else have you been playing?
Final Fantasy Legend, one of my favorite Game Boy games of all time.
The Final Fantasy Legend.
The Final Fantasy Legend. This is the first Final Fantasy game I ever had as a kid. This is what got me into the genre. Mm-hmm. The box art on the front of it, and I posted a picture of this on Instagram the other day. It's my favorite box art of all time. It's so cool. And the game just grabbed me. I don't know, the music is incredible.
Oh,
like,
man.
How did a Game Boy generate this music? It's mind-blowing. The NES did not even have as good of a sound chip as the Game Boy did. This little tiny thing is generating this music, and you're just captivated by it. It's incredible.
Now, we've talked about this before, but both of us are pretty big RPG fans. 16-bit era JRPGs, particularly PS1 RPGs.
Yeah.
The one single game that launched our interest in RPGs was the Final Fantasy Legend, and the only reason that we had this game as kids is because I was at Fred Meyer with $30 in my hand, staring at the Game Boy games, trying to figure out which one I wanted to buy, and based solely on the box art, I purchased the Final Fantasy Legend. I knew nothing about it. I'd never played a Final Fantasy game before, and that quickly led us to buying Final Fantasy 2, 3, Final Fantasy 1 for the NES. I went back
every
and I
game
bought
I
that.
could get my hands on.
And it was the single reason that we ended up buying the PlayStation 1, because the Final Fantasy series was moving to the PlayStation, and that was the sole reason, I believe, that we ended
It was
up...
a big factor.
Yeah.
When I heard that Square was abandoning Nintendo and moving on to the PlayStation,
we had to buy the
I knew that was
PlayStation.
where I needed to be.
I have been playing some PS4 games. I'm just going to grab a couple of them. First of all, I'm a huge fan of the new Tomb Raider games. The Definitive Edition came out several years ago on the PS4, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider came out. just a couple of years ago, and I love both of those games. I bought this. I don't normally buy AAA games like day one purchase. This was a day one purchase for me, and to be honest, I'm pretty disappointed. I don't know if I have Tomb Raider fatigue or not. I just... It seems that it's kind of lazy to me. Like, you go into Mexico and everyone has... Not only are they not speaking Spanish, everyone doesn't even... They don't even have a Spanish accent. And you're going... All these villagers and locals, like... They sound like they grew up in Seattle or something.
It's like in Star Trek when they visit a brand new planet and everyone speaks perfect English with an American accent and you're kind of scratching your head like, how is this possible?
How about a Spanish accent to at least sort of draw your mind into the world of rural Mexico or something? And I don't know. Everything just seems really lazy and there's nothing really new in the game. There's a lot of cutscenes that are very long and boring, just super boring. I don't know. I probably got halfway through the game. I don't think I'm going to finish it, to be honest.
Bummer.
I'm probably done with that series, at least for a long time. And then I picked up Journey on the PS4. A lot of people have talked about this game. It came out several years ago. This is a physical copy, obviously. Flower is also another game on here. I've not played Flower. Apparently it's a very short game. People say it's about a 4-hour campaign. I've logged like 2 hours on it, and it's super boring. I don't know. If you like this game, can you tell me why you like it?
Is this the European version?
I don't know.
What's with the G? That's not our rating system. We have
it
E
probably
for everyone.
Is. It probably. I bought it on eBay.
Oh look, EU.PlayStation.com.
It's region free anyway because it works on my PS4 Pro. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway.
This game is super old, but I just started playing it recently. I found this Castlevania double pack at a garage sale a year or two ago, and I just recently started playing Aria of Sorrow. There's 2 games on here, Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow. I missed out on both of them the first time around. I don't know why. I just didn't get them. But Aria of Sorrow is legit. And this might sound like blasphemy to a lot of people, but it might be the best Castlevania game ever made, objectively. And I love Symphony of the Night as much as the next guy, but man, Aria of Sorrow is good.
You might get struck by lightning for that comment. I don't know.
I don't know what to say. It's really good. I was going to talk a little bit about Game Boy Advance games in general and the value. So, if you go on price charting to try to find the value of a Game Boy Advance game, it's the hardest system to really get an accurate reading. And the reason is because there are so many counterfeit GBA games on the market. Of all the systems that have ever been made, I think there are more counterfeit GBA games out there than any other system. And they're still pumping these out today. You go on eBay, search for any Game Boy Advance game, and there's going to be a seller from China selling a brand new copy of this for $5 or $10.
Stay away.
There might be more counterfeit Game Boy Advance games out there than there are legit copies of Game Boy Advance games.
There's zillions
especially
of them.
The Pokemons and the Castlevanias and the valuable games. Dude.
So speaking of Game Boy Advance, I've been playing Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. I don't know. I just started playing this game. I decided I'm going to start playing some Castlevania games. I don't know. It's October. Let's play some Castlevania.
Why not?
So Castlevania, the original. Never in my life have I put more than a few minutes into this game until now, so I started going through this game, and I really do like it. It is the pacing is very good. You can plow through the first 5, 6, 7 stages pretty easily. Then you get past stage 10, 11, 12, and then the difficulty really starts to amp up. But again, you know, it's about trial and error. It's like, okay, you know, just like every game of this era, the enemies do the same thing. You just have to memorize what the enemies are going to do, where they're going to spawn, how they're going to react, and you can get through it. So I really do enjoy this game. And then I played the second one, and this game is just hard as nails, and it's confusing, and you just die immediately. You go left, you die. You go right, you die. It changes from day to night constantly. Honestly, I don't...
Nobody likes the second one.
I understand why now. I get it. And then, unfortunately, these are all garage sale finds for me this year. Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. It doesn't work. The game is literally broken. So
you win some, you lose
I'm pretty
some.
bummed about that. It's in great condition.
Can you get your money back? Do you remember where you bought it?
Yeah, it came with that giant lot of the 50 games that I bought.
Okay, call the guy back up. Hey, dude, you sold me a bad game.
I should.
And I'm going to keep Pocky and Rocky too, but I want my money back.
Yeah, I want my money back. Castlevania 3. And then this also came from that same seller.
Oh, yeah.
The Castlevania Adventure.
I
on the
never
Game Boy,
played that.
they put the in front of all these games. The Final Fantasy Legend, the Castlevania Adventure. I don't know. This game is way too hard. It's just too hard. And the difficulty is with jumping over platforms and pits and stuff like that, where you end up falling down all the time. And it's just... It's too hard. I'm not going to play it. It's too hard. Alright, I got one more game to talk about. Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Why, Capcom?
This game is too hard. Okay, I feel like a weenie. All I do is talk about games that are too hard. But seriously, have you played this game? I mean, immediately, 30 seconds into the game, you are being bombarded by so many enemies and projectiles that the game slows down to almost a halt because there's so much on the screen. And you're just dodging everything from everywhere. So after playing it for about an hour trying to beat the first level, I couldn't beat the first level. Thanks, Capcom. I popped in the Game Genie and I put in the invincibility code, and I still had a really hard time. And then level 2. I thought level 1 was hard. Level 2 is bloody ridiculous. I mean, how do people... I don't know, it was a different time. 1990, whenever this game came out, I don't know, maybe people had more time on their hands. They weren't sitting on their couch staring at their iPhones all day. Which, I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, I don't have time today. Everyone is so busy today. And you walk into anyone's house, everyone is on the couch staring at their phone.
Yeah.
And apparently, everyone's just too busy.
Busy doing what? Playing Words with Friends for an hour and a half?
Honestly, staring at Instagram and Facebook all day.
Give me a break.
Come on. I don't know. It's not that I don't have time. I just don't like being punished like that. Yeah. I don't know. This game is punishing. It's relentless. But the music and the graphics is so good in this game. You play it, you turn it on, you're just like, oh, I want to love this so bad. I don't know. Let's talk about something that I'm not playing. I'm not playing either of my NES or Super NES Classic editions, and I'll tell you why. One word. Lag time.
Has nobody else noticed this? Why doesn't anybody talk about it?
I don't know. Nobody ever talks about this. Look, on a turn-based RPG, it's fine. Yeah, sure. You want to play Earthbound or Final Fantasy III on the Super Nintendo?
You're fine. Good.
You want to play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? Or it's just Punch-Out on this. It is unplayable. It's Nobody talks about this. When the NES Classic first came out, I was lucky enough to get one, and I was talking to a couple of my friends who had it, and I hooked it up to one TV, and I was like, the lag time is unplayable on this. I couldn't believe it. And then I found a gaming mode on one of my televisions, and I turned it to the gaming mode, and it was noticeably better, but there was still a lag. And I started talking to some of my friends, and they're all like, oh, no, I don't notice a lag at all. And then I hooked it up to my other television, and it was the same thing, same lag. And then I realized everyone has this lag problem, but nobody notices it.
Brains just aren't calibrated.
Their brains, exactly. But, dude, when you're playing a platformer, and your jumps have to be so precise, and you have to run to the very end of the platform before you jump, dude, it's unplayable. And Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, the game is completely broken.
And Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is, to this day, one of my favorite NES games. Like, if I plug in a regular NES to a legit television, I used to be able to beat Mike Tyson pretty regularly. I've probably lost a little bit of reflexes over the years, but it's still one of my favorite games. I tried it on this. Forget it. Unplayable.
It's broken. It's so
You
broken.
cannot dodge Tyson's punches without super, super quick reflexes. You can't do it. You introduce a lag on top of that, dude, you're done. First round every time. 3 hits and you're done.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, try playing Ninja Gaiden. For crying out loud, Mega Man 2. I mean, precision jumping that you're going to need, and those skills and that timing where, dude, it's unplayable. I don't understand why nobody ever talks about this.
How did Nintendo let this happen?
I can't figure it out.
Did they not play test this thing? Did they not?
And the controllers are wired, too. It's not like...
Yeah. How did they let this happen? It's baffling to me. And then on the Super Nintendo, you'd think, okay, we're going to nail this.
Yep.
We're going to do...
Same thing.
Same thing.
No. I mean, the lag is real. And I mean, I don't even know why I have. Honestly,
they're cool looking.
These for collector's item. I'm never even going to play it. I don't know.
And if you want to play Final Fantasy 3 again, I mean, it's a good way to do that.
Okay.
If you want the
Earthbound,
HD experience, or Super Mario RPG.
Donkey Kong Country, though? No way. Forget about it.
How did they let this happen? I can't figure this out.
I can't either, honestly. Everyone's excited about a possible N64 classic. PlayStation Classic, which is coming out. I don't know.
Sony, if you can figure this out and not have a lag, dude.
I'm really excited about a PlayStation Classic and the possibilities with that system. If you look at a lot of RPGs that are just stuck on that console.
With the PlayStation Classic, it's going to be interesting to see what games come out on it.
Because they've only told us about, what, five games.
And the price point is a little high. Unless they can really bring out some, Suikoden 1 and 2, some high-ticket games, because for the most part, PS1 games are pretty cheap. Standard, run-of-the-mill, the Tomb Raiders and Resident Evil and all these Gran Turismo and really SSX and Tony Hawk's Pro Skate. Dude, these games are dirt
Even
cheap.
Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9. They're really
not
cheap
very
games.
expensive.
Yeah.
And so $100 is kind of a lot to ask unless they're going to sweeten the pot with some rare games, Like with Super Nintendo, for example, apart from the lag issue, it's a really good value. You add up all these games, like, wow, if you're going to just buy all these games on eBay, I mean, I haven't added it all up, but if you did add it all up, you're probably out
hundreds.
$500, $600, $700 to buy all these games.
The value is unbelievable.
The value is really great. And now with PlayStation, it's $100, which is $20 more. And like I said, they're gonna have to sweeten the pot with that thing with some high-end RPGs, because I don't know who's gonna pay $100 for a system full of Tomb Raiders and Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters. I don't know.
Other than that and the lag, I hope they continue to pump these out. I've actually thought about bringing one of these with me when I go garage sailing. That way, if I ever come across someone with a big Super Nintendo collection and they're like, oh, you know what, I just don't want to sell it, I want to hold on to it, I can be like, well, maybe we can work out a trade. I've got one of these in my trunk. I'll trade you for depending on the collection.
Depending on the collection, that's not a bad idea.
I mean, if they have Super Metroid and Final Fantasy 3, just those two games, that right there is an even trade.
Yeah.
The nice thing about buying some of these Switch games, like Oceanhorn, for example, which, again, I'm not a big fan of, I'll sell this and I'll probably make all my money back, or almost all of my money back. Whereas, like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it's already tanked in value. I mean,
really?
Yeah, it already has. You can already find it for less than $30 if you look around. That doesn't really happen with Nintendo.
Go down in value, just not as fast. AAA Xbox, PlayStation stuff, I mean, the day it comes out, the value looks like a 45-degree angle going down, but Nintendo stuff, it just kind of, I don't know.
But I mean, look at a game like Octopath Traveler or Xenoblade Chronicles X. Those games... Wait, is it Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Switch? Those games have lost a little bit of value after they came out, but they're really never going to go below where they are right now. At least not significantly. And you look at a game like Uncharted 4, you could probably get it for $10 now, right?
I don't know what it is. People just look at Xbox and PlayStation stuff like it's disposable, and
I don't get it.
Nintendo, it just has an inherent value to it that.
Yeah, and it's not just Nintendo-made games. Octopath is a Square Enix game, and it still is going to hold its value really, really well. So I don't know. People love Nintendo. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So how do you guys keep busy in the off season? Do you go to thrift stores? Do you? I mean, I search OfferUp and Craigslist, and I get so mad and angry just scrolling through there,
asking top dollar for everything, and I don't know.
I posted that picture on Instagram the other day of a OfferUp. The guy had a Super Nintendo with, I don't know, a dozen games or so, a lot of mediocre games, and he's asking $450 for it. Where do you go with that?
I don't know. I see other guys on YouTube, and they're always coming across these nice collections from people who have sold it on the Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp or Craigslist. And
I checked all
those. They're getting good deals on this stuff. I don't know how you do it. If you've done that successfully,
what
bravo.
are you doing?
I don't know. I'll tip my hat to you. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if it's the geography, where you live. People are different out there. But I check the Facebook Marketplace pretty regularly. I don't even know why I do it. And every time I come across anything, it's way overpriced. And they want you to... It's always local pickup only, so they want you to drive to Port Townsend. Like, yeah, I'm going to jump on a ferry boat and go to Port Townsend so I can buy Zombie U for $26.
I'm just counting down the days till garage sale season again, to be honest with you.
We should have like a
countdown, like a calendar.
Yeah, let's do that.
We cross off the days. When does it start? April-ish? Maybe mid-April?
I'm sure we can pinpoint a weekend where it should start. Let's do that.
Yeah. Because that's really all I got going for me at this point in my life. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Sad.
Well, you have that, and you have Final Fantasy Legends.
That's true. Final Fantasy Legends.
You're doing good.
Really?
You're doing good.
Right.
Yeah.